Hello and welcome once again to the Smart Money, Dumb Money Show. I am your host, as usual, Keith Richards, and I am President and Chief Portfolio Manager at ValueTrend Wealth Management, and I'm a technical analyst. And today I thought I would deliver to you a recent lecture I gave for the Money Show in Toronto. So on September the 14th, Saturday, I covered a topic which I have talked about in these videos and on my blogs before, but I thought the presentation was kind of a pretty good explanation of how one start to finish uses my sector rotation model to try to find good stock ideas and also to know when to get out of a stock if it is not cooperating. So I'm just going to go right into the presentation that I gave at the Money Show, and forgive the fact that the charts were done well over a month ago, because it's really the concepts that I want you to be aware of. I'm not showing you new data. In fact, by the time you see this video, they're probably 5 to 6 week old charts. That doesn't matter. What matters is the concepts of how the sector rotation model works. So I'm going to share screen and I'm going to go right to the Money Show presentation, which is right here. And I will start from the beginning and let's go. All right, so how to spot the winners and sell the losers ahead of time. And that was our disclaimer. And we're going to start off with the basic sector rotation model. Now, for those of us interested in using sector rotation, I do encourage you to take my online trading course, which is available at ValueTrend.ca, and you'll see it right in the middle. It's less than $400, and honestly, as I always tell people, I think it's the best thing I've ever done because it covers money management from start to finish. But this is sort of an outtake from that course. I'm not going into the detail that I go into in the course. And the course covers so much more, of course. But this will give you an idea of how the system works. And basically what I am doing is I am looking at month by month pictures of the sector strength chart. Now, you do have to subscribe, in this case, to stockcharts.com to be able to see this chart that you have in front of us here. And this was done, as I said a while back, this seminar. So this is, we're looking at kind of a period that happened a while ago. But at the time, I wanted to look at the June to the end of June, basically to end of July period, and then compare that to the August period. Okay. And what you will see here is that in the month of July, effectively, in the last couple of days of June into July, that we had a very strong real estate sector, very strong financial sector, pretty strong industrials, and on. And where the losing sectors were in communication services and technology. And that's because at that period of time over the summer, you'll remember technology was selling off, and so was discretionary. So you can see the discretionary sector was in the negative as well. The black line is the S&P 500 itself, and anything above it is outperforming the overall index return. Below it is underperforming the index return. Now let's take a look 1 month later. So this is basically the month of July. I look at 22 trading days per month. Not every month has 22 trading days. Some months have more, some months have less, but I like using the 22 days because I'm covering effectively most of the days on an average month. So now let's look at the July 29th to the end of August, August 27th, because this is when I was actually putting these slides together for the Money Show. I had to use up to the 27th of August. But you can see that real estate, just like before, was still in control. But here's something interesting. I put red arrows going to the upside, showing you that utilities and staples suddenly took off. And we saw the financials, which the previous month were doing okay. They were the second best performer. They actually declined quite a bit. They were only 0.26% over the index return. We did have technology make a little bit of a swing back, But interestingly, energy and discretionaries and materials really took it on the chin. The big changes though were industrials, which if we go back here, that was the third best sector. So industrials and financials. So again, there's financials. So clearly the stuff we want to look at is real estate because it continued to be strong, and a couple of emerging sectors, which at the time were the defensives, interesting, utilities and staples, both defensive stock sectors. So what we saw was new rotations into staples and utilities, and we saw real estate stayed the same, and the industrials and financials, which were strong in July, became weaker in August. So now what we want to do is take a look at the general charts of these sectors, the three best sectors, the sectors that we saw money rotating into. So we're going to look at real estate, utilities, and staples. And this is just a 1-year chart. So this isn't a super long chart for each one of these sectors, but you can see that in each case, they all look pretty good. Now I want to point something out, and this is what I pointed out at the Money Show. The reason you look at the 1-year chart is because sometimes you will see a sector that maybe had a 1-month outperformance, and that happened to make it fall into the best of the best list, but in fact, it wasn't really ready for prime time, so to speak, at that time. We can maybe even look at real estate here, and really during the month of February of 24, it did have a nice pop, but that was only really a month, wasn't it? It might have been one of the rotating stocks into positive strength because it had been declining from the beginning of 2024, had a nice pop in February, but then returned to a bearish chart. So that could have fooled you, right? So we need to look at the 1-year picture and see if this is legit. And in case you haven't noticed, it is legit. We saw both a breakout of a consolidation and a move up. Now it's a little parabolic, as you can see on this chart, pretty overbought, but generally speaking, there's some good strength there. Same with the utilities, looks good. A breakout, a little bit of a pullback to the breakout line, and then off it went. And of course, the staples, which have just been on a tear. Very much off of the trend line, though. If you drew a trend line, or even look at the 200-day moving average here, you'd see that it arced off of that trend line very, very overbought. Okay, so you probably would expect some of the staples to pull back, but still, it's in the winning category. So what we've done is we've looked at the 3 top winning sectors, and we said, okay, all charts look good. Staples may be specifically a little overbought. So now we're going to look at the individual stocks within those 3 sectors that we've identified as the sectors that are seeing some rotation. So we're going to look at 3 basic formations to give us an idea if the stocks within those ETFs, in this case, are worth buying. So I like buying range-bound stocks, I like breakouts, and of course, everybody likes an uptrend, especially when you can buy on a trend line test. So let's take a look at what I mean by range-bound. Some people call this swing trades, and you guys know if you read my blog regularly or watch these videos, I really like swing trades. So obviously there's a support level and a resistance level. We want to be buying as close to the support level, especially as it bounces off. It proves that support is still support, and then you want to sell somewhere near the top. Okay, so a good example, in those 3 sectors that we just looked at, I picked out some stocks that were meeting the criteria of the 3 things we're looking for: range-bound, breakouts, uptrends. Okay, so this is within the real estate sector, which was the strongest sector. We can see this stock is range bound. Now it could break out, but at this point it's at the top of the trading range. So probably as a swing trader, I wouldn't be buying this, but I'd keep it on my list for sure. Now if it broke out, and we'll talk about that in a minute, I would be all over it. So let's talk about that. Breakouts. Well, what do we have here? We have one of our other sectors that we like. Remember the 2 defensives, the utilities and the staples, were doing well. Well, within the utilities, these are all US stocks, by the way. Duke Energy, look, kind of a cup formation, a bit of a pullback, and boom, a nice breakout. All right, so that's a good chart. Here's another one. Utilities, Southern Company. So another very well-defined consolidation pattern. It broke out. Short consolidation, it broke out, another short consolidation. So these are the kind of patterns that we're looking for within our 3 favorite sectors. So just to cover though, how these breakouts and then consolidations that follow the breakouts should be handled, we continuously draw support lines, because whenever you have a consolidation, we go back to this chart. If this chart right here, Prologis, broke support here at around $95, we should sell. Okay, so if we go to this chart, this old resistance usually becomes support, and you don't want to see that broken. So here's what happened here. It broke out and it did a smaller consolidation, sort of like these consolidations, and then it broke support. You count a few days, and this is all covered in my course, and then you sell. All right. This is an amazing breakout. This is within the staples sector, Philip Morris, and long base, and then boom, what a breakout. Probably one of those stocks that have pushed that particular sector ETF into an overbought scenario, and it's probably deserving a pullback, but still, you can't argue with that breakout. Okay, trendline tests. Now, you guys know what a downtrend is, lower highs, lower lows. In a downtrend, higher highs, higher lows. In an uptrend, if you're not getting a series of higher highs and higher lows, you have a consolidation. Like here, this is a transition, okay? Well, we're looking for stocks in an uptrend, and we would just love to buy on that trendline test, wouldn't we? So let's look. Costco. Here is a nice example of a consolidation. This is known as a triangle, but you had a consolidation and it broke out, and now you're in an uptrend. You'll see that it pulls to the trend line, moves up, pulls to the trend line, moves up, pulls to the trend line, moves up. All right. So that was an interesting trend line that we could be buying on. So if we saw any one of those pullbacks, we would buy. Now, because again, this is a staple, then we know that sector is a little overbought. So I wouldn't be surprised if Costco did at this point maybe pull back a little bit. All right. Wellpower, which is real estate. And that as well, remember on our original chart, looked a little bit overbought. So you can see it arced off of the trend line in a big way. So you might expect it pulls back closer to the trend line where you could buy it. Do you need it to pull back to the exact trend line? No, you don't. I mean, here it pulled back close enough. So here it pulled back close enough and you could buy it. You got to use some discretion and some judgment on these trades. The point is you identify the uptrend and you trade it. All right. I put this stock in at the money show just for kicks and giggles. Now remember, this chart is only to around the end of August, and here we are near the end of September by the time you're watching this, and you already know what happened on Nvidia. But I was showing at the money show that heck, it's in a nice uptrend, and if it pulls back to that trend line, maybe that's a good point to buy it. The only caution I gave is that, hey, if that's a double top and it breaks the neckline, which would be down here at the last test, we ought to get out. But I was actually saying at this point, gee, I would think if Nvidia pulled back, and it did pull back, as you remember in early September, then we maybe ought to be looking at it. So that was the outline of the seminar that I gave at the money show, and I hope that's of help to you. I did talk at the end that I do offer some different things on the ValueTrend website, such as videos like this. We have the online technical analysis course. We have books and a monthly newsletter that you can get for free. And all of this stuff is not, propaganda trying to get you to buy. Obviously, we like you to be aware that we are portfolio managers, but at the end of the day, we're not pushing people. So you won't be spammed and bothered in any way. If you subscribe to our newsletter, for example, that's all you're going to get. You're going to get the newsletter, and the newsletter actually is quite valuable because we talk about the different sectors that we are looking at that month. So I hope this video helps. And if you do have interest in subscribing to the videos and to the newsletter, then go to our website. If you have interest in portfolio management services, that's what we do. Happy to talk to you about it. You just go to our website and hit the contact button, and we'll be happy to reply to you in that case. And do take a look at the online course, because I think it's, again, one of the best things I've ever done for do-it-yourself investors. If you don't want professional money managers like ValueTrend, and you want to learn to do it yourself in the most efficient way possible, I don't think there's anything out there that's as fulfilling as far as bringing your trading skills up to the level they should be if you're going to invest in yourself than my online course. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.